Hi guys, I'm going to do a tuning video for Maniacal monkeys. This is ideal after you've done Monkey Madness 2 quest. If you check the wiki strategy guide, you can see the info here. There's some stuff about getting there. I recommend checking this. And then also gear requirements. Ideally, big things are void, rigor, if you can. And then also these shields are nice, otherwise book of law, otherwise whatever. I recommend red chins. Black chins are just too expensive. The regular ones is just a bit slower. Red chins seem to be the ideal point for most people in terms of how much money you can make to cover the cost, which is it is expensive, but you do get like 500 depending on your range level. Here you can check. I'll see how accurate this thing is. Yeah, it's fairly accurate. I was actually getting higher than this. I was able to get 720k an hour, about 95. Yeah, so anyway, we're going to get into this. In terms of the setup here, so I'm going to knock over the inefficient way to do this and the AFK way. I'm going to do the kind of higher intensity, I guess, if you can call it that, way to do it to maximize the chins because it's expensive. So in my opinion, you should try and get for the highest XP an hour and not waste money. So in terms of stand pots, you actually don't need this many. You only need, I bring about 4. Once you're good with it, you can bring a couple, I would bring a couple extra prey pots actually. They're cheap and just saves you the initial start of having to pick a lot of up. And then yeah, divine pots, you do want these. Each one is going to give you 20 minutes of stuff, and you use about roughly 2,000 chins an hour. So if you bring 2,000 chins, you will need 3 divine pots. So yeah, and I usually just go for an hour and bring about 2k chins and about 3 or 4 of these divine pots. But you can bring extra because really your inch space isn't a big issue. All the stuff is also good that you want. You don't need this if you've done the quest. You do need a light source such as the kangaroo headgear, and a bone crusher necklace or dragon bow necklace or even a holy symbol is nice just for a prayer item switch to have prayer things if you want AFK, which we'll get into later. Yeah, apart from this, I think that's all I wanted to show here. And I had so many attempts to kind of make this video, I actually ran out of things I had to come to buy more, so I will cover also getting there. Holy Wrench, I bring it just because why not? It's just less clicking at prey pods over time, but it's super minor. Only bring it if you have it. So yeah, and I'm using pretty much the best in slot stuff here. I could get that God Ring that gives a bit more prey bonus, but that's not required. And the Anguish is here, but for getting there, I'll have my prey bonus necklace. So Grand Seed, what's it called? The Royal Seed Pod to get here, and you'll take the glider. I think you can do this if you haven't finished MM2, maybe you have to start it or something like that, and then you'll need a Gree as well. And then yeah, you'll take the glider to this one over here. And before you go in anywhere, you're going to want plugins, so NPC aggression timer, you want this one turned on, and you'll get this little thing there later that will show you how long you have to reset the aggression, and it'll also show you yellow lines for how to walk out and reset it. Monkey metrics is from the plugin hub, and this one will show you how many monkeys are stacked on a certain square, which is really important to have. It's not super important, but you don't want to waste chins. And I think the other one with tile indicators is another that I recommend, and highlight true tile, and that shows you where you're standing. And then when you're pathing around the stacking the monkeys, you're going in this kind of pattern, and you can see you click as soon as the tile changes to the other one. That's also basically a free tick timer as well. Shows you when the next game tick has occurred. So that's good to not waste ticks. So you go down this little trap thing here, and then you go south, and you'll have hopefully you tile marked your tiles for the path to get in here safely for MM2. If you haven't, you kind of have to go and explore it and find the tiles. And if it says you go the wrong path, then you know that that's not the right way to go. So I'm just going down my path, and you do have a chance of failing some of these obstacles, in which case you want to be really quick to turn your Protect Melee prayer on. I'll just have that up. I think the only one I remember falling down is this one, maybe a couple of rope swings. But anyway, so over here, I'm going to drink a pot because I'm going to need it later probably. Unfortunately, this video is being filmed at a time after the TOA release when the servers have been really, really bad, and no matter where you go, you get some decent lag. This is the tick tracker plugin. I just kind of do it out of curiosity. It's a bit excessive, but anyway. I was doing this on a US world, which is very high ping for me, and also the lag was bad because there's 700 players on it. So what I do is I sort the worlds by ping, and then just click on them, keep popping until you find a free world. So you want to right click look in to make sure somebody in there, you can't really crash them. I mean, you wouldn't want to crash them, but it just wouldn't work. So hopefully the whole video is not spent doing this, but
2 hours later.
oh my god. Okay, and after you go in here, we go in after a very brief and quick and non-profanity filled section of finding a free world. We go over here, and if you do not have this NPC aggression timer working, you're in for some fun because you need to go back and reset it, or you can just say screw it and just realize that they're no longer aggroing you. So I'm going to explain some stuff before I have split focus between stacking these things and explaining. So ideally you want to be in this place for the high efficiency type of thing. And kind of what people started doing, or what I started doing, is going right click walk here to stack them. And you have to move in this L shape pattern. And what happens is with the clipping, when somebody, shoot, I forgot if it was leaves or steps on. I think when somebody leaves a square, the clipping is reset. So if I step on the square, you can see that monkey went on there. The clipping on that square is removed and somebody can walk on it. Sorry, NPCs only, obviously, but yeah. And the same thing happens here as well. You didn't see it there. It's going to be hard to see it. You saw all of them go boop, 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 and stacked. When I'm doing this pattern here, I think it's also stepping in between them, and it's also removing clipping there. So that's kind of the logic here of how this works. And you can see every time I step once, it's 23. Again, 24. And when the NPC sets there, then the NPC's clipping will get added, and that's why you can't have more than one stack. So yeah, every click is basically an NP stack. Now what I just did there is the bad way to stack this. So when I'm actually chinning, you don't want to stack them like this and just waste ticks standing here doing nothing. You want to be attacking them, and you don't want to excessively stack them because you'll be using a hell of a lot of run energy as well. So that's what you don't want to do. Ideally, so you need to know which chins you're using. So I'm using red chins, and if we did the wiki lookup thing, you can click this lookup wiki, you can click the thing, and it'll open up the wiki page if you didn't know that. It's a nice little bit. And let's see. So yeah, you want to use medium fuse as well, which is 3 ticks. And let's see, I'm just gonna, oh there it is. PVM, they can hit up to 11 targets in a 3x3 area. And I think black chins is 13. I think the gray with the normal chins is like 9. Don't quote me on it, but red chins are probably what you want to be doing here. Anyway. So in terms of that, you want to have at least 11 there. You could do like, theoretically, there's probably like a bunch here, so I could do like 7 or something, but 11 is just a nice thing to work with. And when your prayer goes low, make sure you sip your prey. You want to have your prey as high as possible without wasting prey pots. Because you can DC here, and I just DC'd on the last take of this video, and that was kind of oof, but I wasn't worried because I knew I had enough prey to stand here for quite a while, even with rigor and rapid heal, which you want. Just like 2 minutes, and I think after you DC, you're there for like 30 seconds, and then you get kicked. So yeah, that's that. And in terms of the NPC aggression thing, when this gets to 0, you want to reset it. You'll keep attacking the chins, and then it'll get down to below 11, then you want to get out of there. And I would just run over to the quickest place with these lines. That's why this plugin's so good. And then it's reset. Boom, 10 minutes, and then you can run back. And now the next time I do it, I know I have to only run up to there. without the plugin, usually you have to run like out to around here to reset it before you realize it's reset. So the plugin does save you quite a bit of stuff. And yeah, the monkey metrics thing as well. Some people will right click to count this if they're like mobile or just vanilla for whatever reason. But that's not entirely accurate because eventually these drop so much junk on the floor that when you right click it, it won't show all of the monkeys there. It'll be like 12 and you right click and then it'll be like 3 and then it'll be like a huge stack of items. And that's where the Bone Crusher comes in actually. The Bone Crusher is really helpful, either the necklace or the actual one, because it will remove basically half of the items on the floor by crushing the bones. Fair warning, this will completely obliterate your charges in your thing because you're killing so many of these. It's like 20k XP an hour, but you fly through the charges. I think each bone is like 16 XP when it's halved, 32 normal. But yeah, so there's these drop prayer pots as well, which is how you only have to bring like one or a couple. So you pick up the pray pots occasionally as well. And but the issue is that, okay, we'll do a bit. So yeah, and you have your auto retaliate off as well, so you don't waste chins. Also, when you're resetting, you want to turn it off before you go over there. Otherwise, they're just fling chins at these things and wasted chins. And I already have enough stack, so I'll just keep going. Pew pew. Did I even skip the thing? Yeah, I think people, sorry, I just all over the place. So yeah, I started with walking here, I think, and then, oh, pray pot, take, and keep tagging. So the ideal place to pick up prey pots, still over the place, is in these squares here, because then you can walk to them and you don't lose any ticks to pick them up. The stack in the middle, if I want to take this one up, so you can see there's 19 chins, 18, 15, poof, a bunch just kind of stepped out to attack me, and they'll just keep kind of expanding out the more time you're under there. So yeah, ideally you don't want to pick the ones up in the middle unless you have to. And yeah, so I was saying, you can right click walk here, or you can hold shift if you're on Runelight, and you can step here as well to stack them. But the best way to do it is to go in here. This is so much better. I was doing this on a world, I'm only on 125 ping. I was on like a 250 ping world before with like 700 players. It was laggy as hell, and I could not do this tick perfect stacking, which you don't have to do technically anyway. To start with, you'll just, as soon as you get the XP drop, you'll just step, and then step, step, and you just do this until you have at least 11, and then you can just chill for a bit. And then when it goes down, I can go up to 8 this time, but you'll always want to be hitting at least 11 targets to get the maximum XP out of each chin. But yeah, the easy way, and this is honestly fine, I'm not even sure why I'm doing this really sweaty method now. But yeah, just throw, and then the auto retaliate will just throw your chin, and there's absolutely no ticks lost, but you're still stacking them. Yeah, because the worst thing you can do is just like, I'm going to stack them, get like a big 30 stack, and then you just kind of do this, and then, yeah. And this is probably what the wiki is doing because it had like 1 billion stamina pods, but it's just ridiculous. Can't even stack them very well. But yeah, and if you did want to do this, if you wanted AFK, I guess you could do this. Just click as soon as you see the other tile indicator change. No, just go completely ridiculous. And have a big stack. Now we got 29 chins. And you can AFK for like a good 20 seconds, which is basically nothing. But yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, so the ideal way though is to get the XP drop, step, step, AFK, get the aggro, well, AFK for 1 tick, because it's a 3 tick attack speed, so it's move, move, that's 2 ticks, then you attack on the 3rd tick, and then you move, move, and then repeat the cycle. And yeah, you can grab these prey pots if you really want, if you're desperate. Pretend I'm desperate now. Oop, and it's gone. So that's an extremely annoying thing. That's why my Bone Crusher has no charges at the moment, but if it did, it would remove half of the drops here, and I'd be able to pick up the prey pots a bit easier. And there's a trick though. If a prey pot does show up, you can take it and then right click it really quickly and then take another one. It didn't really work there because more showed up, but because you can kind of click the menu and then it will have a prey pot there. You take it, you open it again, and if you haven't taken it, it'll still be there, and then you can take it again. So I'll try to do this one. It's gone. It's unfortunate. So yeah, it's quite a hard thing to show, and yeah, I lost some chins. So if you don't have the full 11 chins, I'd stack them up until you have at least you're gonna hit 11 again. Otherwise, you're wasting things. And did I already explain this? Where there was a brief minute there where I didn't have an attack option, and that's why you kind of want to right click sometimes or let your auto retaliate attack them, because if you're these things can kind of go out, and then if you click here, it goes to pick crap off the floor. It's super annoying. That's how it is. So you have to be careful about that. And if you do click there, you lose the stack pretty quickly as well. So that's another thing to keep a watch for. And at the kind of halfway point, you're gonna have to drink your pots again. Yeah, overall this is like looks really sweaty, but it's actually really not that bad. And if you do ice bursting or barraging, it's even more AFK than this. So yeah, I don't. You could probably watch a movie doing this, but like I just at 2 mil an hour, if you get distracted, it's like another 400k an hour. So it's up to you. And ideally, you don't want to pick up crap on the floor. And I'll just drink it early just because why not? And there's another pre-pot there, so I'm going to take that one, and you lose very little ticks. I didn't lose a single tick there, so that's perfect. And you can decant these as well if you want to kind of stack them up. Not entirely necessary because you'll just drink the window spots, but you can. That's what I used to do. Pre-pot there, put max speed drop, and attack. Maybe I think this one. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, that's just a sweaty way of doing it.